All right, guys, this is Tara Devlin, and this is Devlin versus the News. Let's get into it. I wanted to talk about Sanctuary City, so I'm going to talk about it. We see what's going on with ICE thugs dragging people off the streets, and Republicans are doing what they do. They're basically waging war against blue states, functioning states that keep their poorly run red states afloat. And they're doing it partly, of course, with a war of misinformation. What else is new? One of the things that they count on their voters not actually understanding, the term sanctuary city does not equate to a lawless zone. And that's exactly what the Republicans want their voters to think a sanctuary city is. Let's listen to Stuart Varney, the horrible Stuart Varney, the horrible Tom Holman on the horrible Fox Business Network.
You're sheriff in town yourself, Tom Holman.
So tough.
These mayors are helping to foment the violence, and you can't listen to them. Nobody should listen to them.
Yeah, just go lawless. Well, what they're talking about is the communities are not taking kindly to masked goons ripping people off the streets and kidnapping them. And I guess the masked goons are getting their fifis hurt. They're the victims, though. This is a very, well, of course, it's one of the fascist tactics that we can count on, professional victimitis. Let's continue.
No, not only that, I'm going to head to Portland. I'm going out there. They're not going
So
to
tough.
bully us or
Bully, poor babies.
We're going to do the job. We're going to do it in Portland too. But for the mayor of New York City and Chicago, President Trump made it clear 2 weeks ago. We're going to double down and triple down on sanctuary cities.
There you go.
Not because they're blue, because we
Really?
know there are recent public safety threats to the streets every day.
Okay, I have to stop him because it's almost unbearable. Here's the thing. Republicans, they built their entire brand on misinformation and stoking fears and making sure that their voters never actually understand what a sanctuary city is. They don't want facts getting in the way of a good scare story. Instead, they rely on confusion, distortion, and misinformation to paint sanctuary cities as a dangerous haven for criminals. Sanctuary city is not a lawless zone. It doesn't mean that police ignore crime or let undocumented people off the hook if they commit crimes. It simply means that law enforcement doesn't act as an arm of federal immigration authorities. If you are the victim of a crime or are a witness to a crime, you can call the police. And I mean, if you're the victim of a crime or witness of a crime who also happens to be undocumented or doesn't have the proper documentation, you can call the police without worrying that you will be kidnapped. That's it. Basic protections for the community at large. And it makes the communities safer. And the numbers don't lie. Everywhere Republican policies hold sway, there's more needless suffering and death. They are the crime-riddled, poorly run shitholes that they're trying to turn the entire country into. Blue states are functioning. You know, we live in reality. If sanctuary cities didn't work, there'd be no reason to continue them. Police in these sanctuary cities support the sanctuary city policies. The numbers do not lie. Sanctuary cities are safer. A 2017 study by the Center for American Progress found that violent crime rates are 35% lower in sanctuary counties compared to non-sanctuary counties. A 2018 Cato Institute study, and that's a right-wing think tank, I've used that loosely, found that there is no evidence that sanctuary policies increase crime. A 2019 study in the Journal of Criminology concluded that sanctuary policies actually reduce crime by increasing trust and cooperation with law enforcement. That's why police chiefs in sanctuary cities support these policies. When people trust the police, crime rates go down. They report crimes. When people are afraid, they don't report crimes. It's that simple. Sanctuary policies work. Local law enforcement is prohibited from inquiring about immigration status during routine interactions. That's it. Therefore, everyone is encouraged to cooperate with the police regardless of immigration status. It makes sense. The community is safer. These policies are about public safety. When people aren't afraid to report crime everyone benefits. How hard is that, Republicans? But they don't care. Tom Homan knows that crime rates are lower in sanctuary cities. He knows that, but it doesn't get the same bang for their buck in division and hate and tickling those racist funny bones and keeping people divided. And Tom Homan will be fine. He'll disappear behind the walls of his gated communities or wherever the hell in his ivory tower. Stuart Varney's fine. But we're the ones that have to live in a state that has a higher crime rate because of Republican policies. They do it with other terms too: socialism, woke, critical race theory, Antifa. These are things they don't want people to understand. The ambiguity allows their Republican politicians and media figures to project whatever meaning is more politically useful at the moment. It helps them keep their voters angry and therefore confused and continuing to vote for their own demise. As a result, the actual policies and ideas behind the words are rarely discussed. In all the emotion and the fear and the outrage that's generated, how hard is it for Democrats to simply say crime rates are lower in sanctuary cities and counties? That's why the Political Voices Network is here, because we're bringing the truth. That's it. It's not about a lawless zone. Enough with your bullshit, Republicans. Enough tickling racist funny bones. Fact is, sanctuary cities work. They never mention that sanctuary cities cooperate with federal authorities when it comes to serious crimes. They never mention that the violent crime rate in sanctuary cities is lower than in places that do the bidding of the masked ICE Gestapo. The whole point of a sanctuary city is that everyone is safer, that everyone can live without fear. If you're a violent criminal, wouldn't you want to target the undocumented? Because they're not going to call the police. It makes people more vulnerable and the entire community less safe. Sanctuary cities protect all citizens, not just the undocumented. It gives people the freedom to call the police without worrying whether a carload of masked goons are going to show up and kidnap them. That's all. And Republicans know this. You know, you got to wonder, they're not really working for you, red state voter. They're making you less safe. They're making you twisted. They're lying to your faces. And ignorance, hate, and division are the Republicans' most powerful tools. How much longer are you going to take it, red state voters? How much longer are you going to continue to vote for your own demise? My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching the Political Voices Network. Please check out the Tara Show every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, with myself and Tara Devlin at the Political Voices Substack and YouTube channels. Check out my show, Tara Buster, every Friday evening, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, at Tara Buster YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFA channel/Tara Buster. Become a patron, patreon.com/Tara Devlin. We will win. Support the independent liberal media. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin, and I will see you soon.